Oh my goodness gracious, it is 9:45 on the AM dial, and it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Java with Jen. And today we have Missy Day, founder of What's Your Story, back with us again. If you missed any of the other couple of episodes, the first one we did this month was just the storytelling in general. What is it to tell a story? Last week, we talked about the power of storytelling in giving a presentation at work so you're not boring and put people to sleep. And today we're going to talk about why it's important to use storytelling in sharing your knowledge with others and how that makes what you're saying more impactful. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, let me take a sip of coffee first. Love coffee. If you don't know who I am, my name's Jen Koken, and I am your favorite executive leadership coach dedicated to empowering women in STEM to lead with more authority, influence, and impact. And also the author of the upcoming book, Make Imposter Syndrome Your Superpower. Please go buy one, pre-sale, jenkokenbook.com. And when you do that, you're also going to send me the receipt, and you'll get a free copy of an ebook to read before you actually get the book in the mail. Meanwhile, let me bring in a Missy Deo. Deo. Hey, Missy, how are you again? Good to see you again.
I'm great. Good to see you too again, Jen.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We've had a lot of fun this month talking about what is storytelling, how to make your presentations not boring so you don't bore the pants off people, and the power of storytelling in a corporate setting. Today, we're going to talk about the storytelling and sharing your knowledge and why using storytelling makes things more impactful. Ooh, I think I forgot to introduce you because people might not know who you are, just like I forgot to introduce myself a minute ago. This is Missy Day, founder of What's Your Story, and she works with speakers and coaches to get their message across in a way that really transforms people's minds and impacts their hearts. That is the power of storytelling, and she offers storytelling workshops too. Is that good? Did I miss
That's,
anything?
that's great. It's
Okay.
perfect.
I was like, oh my God, she just missed that whole thing. All right. So let's talk about using or accessing storytelling to share your knowledge. Why is that important? And then, you know what? Start off with, in case people didn't tune in to the previous episodes,
Mhm.
tell us what is storytelling and why is it important to weave it into sharing your knowledge?
Storytelling is making connections. It's building a relationship, and it's being vulnerable. And anytime you can bring those components into whatever you're doing, whether it's with, on a corporate level or relationships, it's going to make those stronger because you're coming with, with realness and authenticity. And I think people miss that now, in some degree.
Yeah, they do. They do miss that realness and authenticity. And so how talk to me about an example of how you were able to share your knowledge with storytelling. And specifically, I don't know if you have a story like this where, oh, that made a difference when I shared a story versus just told people about something. Does that
I
make sense?
do. Yes. So when I left being a social worker and went into corporate, it was merely a fluke, really. I mean, I ended up there because a friend of mine was like, she owned Kelly Services. She goes, "Hey, Bank of America's looking for somebody. Could you help me out for 6 weeks?" And I was like, "Sure." Well, and that turned into a 10-year run at Bank of America. But I was happy being a project manager, being in my office alone and working on my projects until one day my manager came in and she said, "We had a manager quit and you're going to be the manager of this department and you start tomorrow." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" She goes, "Yeah, I think you'll be great at it." And I was like, "Oh, no, no, you have the wrong person." And she said, "No, I think you're going to be great." So I came home that night and started looking up, I'm going to have books on being a leader and, all the things. And, so I went with this team and we had our team meeting and they were like, "You're not going to last. None of our managers have lasted. We've all taken bets how long you're going to be here." And I was like, wow, no pressure there. So we kind of were like that for a while until I sat everybody down for a team meeting and I said, look, I said, I'm going to be real with everybody here. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing here. But I said, we're going to make the best of it. And I said, I want you to share with me what what was it with the other managers that they didn't make it and that why you don't think they made it or why do you think I'm not going to make it? And they shared, the stories of we didn't know who they were. They didn't know who we were. There was no conversation. It was just we were somebody to get the work out and they sat in their office and never came out. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, well, that's not me. That's not how I work. And I said, so I'm going to make you a promise. That's not who I am. I love story. I love hearing up people's stories. And I said, how about if every Monday morning we just set aside time and we get to know one another and have real
Mm.
conversations about why we're here and where we want to go while we're here. And everybody at first was just like, okay, she's weird. There's something not right about
She's
her.
lost her mind.
But that's how we started. And we went from this group of people that didn't talk to anybody to being this nice, cohesive team. And it was just great because why? We were sharing stories about one another and how really when you really think about it, how easy is that? You know, story. We all have them. So let's not pretend that we're here, you know, solving the world problems. We're just here trying to get through the day and make it pleasant for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I think often leaders are so caught up in, well, two things that made me think of leaders are so caught up in just getting stuff done. I don't have time for this. But the smallest things like spending time just getting to know one another makes the people at your company feel like you care.
Hmm.
And hopefully you do, because it will come across disingenuous if you're like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
supposed to like go ask people what their stories are and let me just listen to them, blah, 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 blah. I think the other piece is, well, what I have found is that leaders err on one of two sides. Either one, they're just having people report in their numbers, like you were speaking about with the folks on that
Hmm.
team. And so people feel like it's very transactional and that's that. And so what is the point? Or the manager errs on the side of listening to all their complaints that they never get any work done
Right.
because they're
Hmm.
just there listening. And I always say, use the verbal vomit bucket. Give them 5 minutes to verbally vomit all the stuff that isn't working, but then get it into a moment of what is working, what's going really well, what isn't going as well as you think it is. Why do you think that is? All that to say you could start any one of your one-on-one meetings by simply asking the question like, what was the best part of your week so far?
Hmm.
What'd you do over the weekend? I went to see the movie Complete Unknown, the one about Bob Dylan, like, I went to see that. I didn't think it was very good.
Hmm.
I mean, I thought it was fine, but, wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. Have some kind of a personal connection, and I think that's what you're pointing to is create a personal connection. Yes, you're at work and you're not there to be friends, but making
Hmm.
a personal connection goes a long way.
Oh, for sure. I'll never forget when the first morning that I went down on the floor to greet everybody personally, just to say good morning. And I would walk up to them and they would just like stiffen up and be like, I've already, processed 2,100 and something, statements. And it's like, I'm not here for that.
Oh my
I'm just
god.
here to say good morning. How are you doing? How's your day going? And, it took them a while to get used to that because they were so conditioned on immediately being like this robot and sharing what they've processed that I was like, wow, this is not how it should be.
No, yeah. I think what's key here is storytelling creates connections.
Hmm.
Get genuinely interested and also like you did, leave your office, walk the floor, check in with people.
Hmm.
Even if you've got to come in, you want to check your email really quick. Don't leave the door to your office closed. But if you're in
Right.
the middle of something, you could say to people, like, see if I've got a minute. If I don't, I'll come find you. First thing in the morning, you check your email real quick. Hopefully, you've done it the night before. You like planned your day the night before. Check your email real quick and then to make rounds. How's it going?
Hmm.
How was your evening? Grab your coffee, go have a chat with people. So important. Those small things, especially in this day and age now of post COVID, where people things have gone to Zoom or hybrid workplaces, we're not used to seeing people every day. I think
Right.
those small things when we are together will make all the difference in the world.
Oh, yes, 100% because they feel like they're valued. I mean, we all want to feel like we're adding value and that we're valuable, wherever we're at. And the best way to do that is create an environment where they know for sure that they are because they're hearing it,
Yep.
from, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you heard it here from Missy Day, founder of What's Your Story, all about how to create that personal connection, the power of storytelling here on Java with Jen, Java with Jen, and Missy, Java with Jen, Java with Jen. And Missy's going to be joining us one final time next week, where we'll be talking about having fun in the workplace. And that will be our final episode before Missy joins us as our guest expert in the Empowering Expert series to want to invite you to join us. It'll be an hour of your time. Missy will be putting all this together, giving people some guidance and advice one-on-one. If you've got a presentation and you're thinking to yourself, how the heck do I weave story into that? If you are looking for easy ways to connect with the people in your office, if you are looking at how to have more fun at work, join us for the Empowering Expert series. And that will be February 26th. We'll make sure there's a link in the show notes so that you have it. And until then, ciao, ciao for now, friends.